Welcome back, everyone. Or traitors, as the DNC media is now calling all of us. That's right, if you support Trump and you see through the Democrat Party's bull, then you're officially an enemy of democracy, the Constitution, and our republic. In the run-up to the no-witness vote, MSNBC has been claiming that Republicans don't want to protect the country.
What we have here now is the Senate of the United States, through the Republican leadership and membership, has now joined hands with a tyrant.
Does that sound completely nuts to you? That's because it is completely nuts. After Friday night's vote to not allow any more witnesses, the DNC media has been predictably howling at the moon and letting out every crazy thought that passes their mind. It's almost like they're willing to tear apart the union in their desperate bid to overturn the 2016 election and get rid of their opponent for the 2020 election. All the so-called objective press that are actually just Democrat Party propaganda, and I'm talking about ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, NPR, and PBS, they're all broadcasting pure partisan liberal hackery, like The Spew, where they were begging God to save the country from Trump being acquitted.
I mean, Lamar Alexander could have saved the whole thing by voting for more witnesses, which would save democracy.
I think they have dismantled our very institutions to keep power.
Okay, first, I just want to point out this theme that if the Democrats and the left wing don't get what they want, somehow it's the end of democracy. And you also see these charges that the Republicans and Trump are attacking America's institutions, specifically our elections. I find this completely absurd. You saw this same narrative about attacking institutions when Donald Trump refused to say that he would accept election results if he lost. At the time, Democrats, the media, and Hillary herself said to not accept election results would be an attack on the institution and democracy.
That our elections in some ways are no longer free, which is the suggestion we've been hearing from Donald Trump on the campaign trail as of late. Long-term and even medium-term effect on our democracy could be profound.
But remember, it's the Democrats and their media who said George W. Bush wasn't a legitimate president because of hanging chads. And it's the Democrats who have said that Trump's not a legitimate president. We know that they started impeachment plans before he was even elected. Don't you just love how these harpies suddenly appropriate religion and God, but only to smite their political opposition? I'm sure God is all about Orwellian propaganda and partisan coups to undo democratic elections. That's what God's all about. Our first stop at the freak show is DNC money recipient Chuck Todd, who's been freaking out and claiming that the Democrats are, quote, folding too quickly on impeachment. What? They've literally been trying to impeach him from the day he was inaugurated. Even the whistleblower himself is reported to have been hatching an impeachment scheme from 2 weeks when Trump took office. That's right. You go and earn those millions from the DNC, Chuck. How about the overstuffed human sausage, also known as Michael Moore, who was invited onto MSNBC to cheapen domestic violence by comparing it to acquitting Trump? Over at CNN, the washed-up political hack Carl Bernstein was doing his best to incite some sort of action against the president or his supporters by claiming that Republicans are now, suddenly, for some reason, joining hands with a tyrant. I mean, if this were true, wouldn't it have been true back in 2016 when Trump became the Republican nominee? But he's not a tyrant, and of course he's never done anything that would raise anywhere near the level of earning that label. You would think that these people never read The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Trump is objectively not the monstrous, snarling beast that the Democrat Party media has framed him as. And it makes me wonder what will happen when an actual real tyrant comes around. My question is, if you really believe there's a tyrant dictator in the White House, what action should you be taking? I've been saying this for years now. They don't actually believe the crap that they're spewing, because if they did, we'd have an armed insurrection on our hands. What does concern me, though, is what their followers will feel justified in doing in the run-up to the election, and then after the election once they've lost. Much like when we saw action taken by extremist left-wingers who were acting based on what AOC and the Democrat Party media were saying about detention centers on the border. Centers that were built by the Obama administration, by the way. If I were the Trump campaign, I'd start making political ads from these mental breakdowns to show the American people who's actually undermining our institutions and our republic. Not based on my standards, based on their own standards. The enemy of the people are the ones who are wrongly reporting that true patriots are an existential threat. Hey, thanks for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and share. It's one of the best ways you can support this channel. If you'd like to further support this channel, you can do so on Subscribestar, Patreon, or PayPal. You can find all the links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you.